This is a Rogue Media Network production.
Welcome back to the show. You know, there's something about a place with a long memory where the land itself seems to hold stories where generations have come and gone and things that endure quietly shape us into who we become. And in Salado, the creek is a very important part of that memory, long before us and long after us, really. Well, so today's conversation is about that kind of stewardship, not just for today, but for the generations which will follow, because Salado Creek isn't simply about protecting water, it's about protecting history. So I'm delighted to have some of the founding members of Save Salado Creek. It's a grassroots organization that has formed recently. Their motto is building bridges together since 1868, but it's in reference to the quality of Salado Creek water and the volume of water in it and all that sort of thing. With growth, there is an issue with runoff from waste and so forth. You know, when you have populations of people, you've got that. And so the water tributaries and streams catch that. And what will that mean down the line for a community like Salado, where the creek is such an integral part of it? So I'm delighted to have Tiffany Schreiner back, who is one of the founding guardians, you're calling it, of Save Our Creek, along with Beverly Turnbo, who is a historian in Salado, and that wonderful Carolyn Britt, who is, well, you've been in Salado a good long while.
Since 74.
Since 74.
That's 52 years.
And help develop you know, some of the streets and so forth. I mean, so I want to start with you. Tell me a little bit about
Okay.
tell me a little bit about what Salado means to you, Carolyn.
Okay. Well, my husband worked for IBM for a number of years, and we began to talk about leaving corporate life. And ironically, when we would talk to our friends, they would say, "Where are you going to go and what are you going to do?" And we'd say, "Well, we don't know, but for sure we're not going back to Texas." So you learn right away never to say never. Yeah. And so when we finally decided to do it, we had a wonderful artist friend that we had known for years, and we told him we had stepped off the cliff. And he told us about Barton House and 13 acres. So we bought Barton House, and then he called us back and said, "There's some wonderful buildings in Santa Ana, Texas that are going to rack and ruin, but if we bought them, we could do something with them." And we said, okay. Yeah. And so that became, along with the expertise of Bryant Reeves and Lonnie Edwards, it became Salado Square. And we built we built those buildings using that material out of Santa Ana. And the realtor said, "Oh, why are you doing this? Nobody will ever come across the creek. They'll always just stay around Stagecoach Inn and Grace Jones because gasoline has gone up to 75 cents a gallon." Yeah. And we said, "We hope you're wrong."
Yeah, right. Let's plan for it anyway.
So what really was so appealing to us about Salado is that the creek and the village and the hospitality of the inn, and the fact that it was on the military road and also a branch of the Goodnight Trail, it has this wonderful history of welcoming. And so when the 19th century people came to Salado, they had this neighborly, welcoming heart, and they built Salado College, which was the first private, nonprofit, co-ed college west of the Mississippi. And I have 3 daughters, so that appealed to us. And we noticed it wasn't just kindness, it was really neighborliness that we felt like was symbolized by the creek. It's so abundant and so beautiful. And one of the things that became almost iconic to me is that I was told that one of the settlers actually brought watercress from Virginia and planted it along the creek.
Oh.
And in the spring, I would get tears in my eyes when I would go gather watercress and wild onions to make springtime soup. My girls played all over that. They looked for pollywogs. We picnicked. They found arrowheads. And even I, as an adult, would go down that creek in an inner tube. And to the astonishment of some of my contemporaries. But the creek was just a vital part of the whole spirit. And I think what I have in my mind is that I want us, with the neighborliness and the education and the cooperation that we have, to still be neighbors, welcome the people who are coming, but in a way where we can still keep the watercress growing.
Mm-hmm. And is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
You can find it.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Beverly, you're a historian. So just what does the history of this beautiful village mean to you?
It's the reason why we moved to Salado and chose Salado. And
Where did you come from?
Evergreen, Colorado.
Oh, my goodness.
I was with the federal government, so I
Okay.
was based out of Denver.
Uh-huh.
But we chose it. I love the early stories. In the early days, Salado, the history of Salado was woven around the Salado Creek and Salado College. And Salado College was really something back then. It brought all kinds of different people. And one of the stories I love the most is that many of the students some of them would find housing with local people, but many of them camped on the banks of Salado Creek,
Really?
along with many teachers. And one of my favorite stories is how cowboys who were 40 and 50 years old used to come to Salado College so they could learn to read the brands on their cattle. And so they would show up, they would take their horses, they would camp out by the creek, ride their horses up to Salado College, which served kids from grade school all the way through college. And they would ride up, unhitch the horses, go in and jingle down the halls with their spurs on. And so
I can
they would
hear it
have
now.
to be asked to take their spurs off before they went to school. And it's just a wonderful tale of how early settlers, even the Comanche and the Tonkawa Indians and others who lived along and fished and thrived on the banks of Salado Springs and Salado Creek. It's a draw, it's a natural draw to not only the beautiful creek, but to our village, which is so unique and so unique in Texas.
Mm-hmm. I love it. You know that. Of course, Tiffany, we've been friends a long time.
We have.
Over our mutual love
Lucky
for
me.
Salado. Well, the feeling is mutual. But tell me, what does this grassroots effort mean to you in looking ahead? As we've kind of said before, you don't have a lot of chances to get it right when it comes to preparing for the future and preserving what you have.
Again, Anne, I'll tell you, we've had conversations about it, and I'll tell you that it's a vast concept, but it comes back down to the heart of our village. And it really is, to me, the creek is the heartbeat of Salado. And it is an indication of how healthy we are as a community and as a state and as stewards for the soul of this place. To whom much is given, much is expected. And we've been given so much in Salado. It's full of spiritual, artistic, and historical riches unparalleled from my seat. And, my grandmother, I quote her often, boy, was she spunky, and it stuck with me. She said, we have to bloom where we're planted, y'all. And you can't bloom without water.
That is for sure. Yeah. That it is the lifeblood of a
And to bloom
community.
consciously now and conscientiously for the present, and I'm going to say for the present, the past, and the future, because by honoring and safeguarding the future, we're also honoring and safeguarding the past. There's no reason why we should not honor the blood, sweat, and tears of our beautiful ancestors. in an effort to preserve that for our grandbabies. When I hear the multi-generational echoes of laughter down that creek,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
The
that's
light
it.
changes, everything changes when you hear that.
Yeah, that's it. When people think of preservation, though, often they think about buildings. So let's talk about how preserving the creek protects the history of Salado itself. Yeah.
That question is so important. There are 6 historic buildings or sites on or near Salado Creek that are recognized by the National Registry of Historic Places. There are 7 other sites that are recognized either by the Texas Historical Commission or the Texas Registered Historic Sites. So it's critical that we preserve them. Tiffany mentioned a couple. Stagecoach Inn is an important one. That's one of the most important. Alexander's Distillery is one of them. Chisholm Trail was so important during that time. There is plaques honoring the Chisholm Trail.
And you can see the wagon ruts
Exactly.
in the creek bed when the water is low.
Exactly.
You can see them.
So
roofed
all
out.
of those, Summers Mill, Jones Mill, the old Grace Jones building, which is the Barbie Berry Mercantile. One of the critical sites is the Robertson Plantation, which is still a working ranch today. All of those are protected by either National Registry protection or the Texas Historic Commission registration. I think the most important point that I want to make, though, is Salado Creek was the first natural landmark, received the first natural resource landmark award in the state of Texas back in 1967. That's how important that creek is, not only to its local heritage and culture, but to the state of Texas.
Right.
So that's really important that I think that the Commission on Environmental Quality weigh that as part of their deliberations about the permits that are going on. That is something that the state of Texas recognized as one of the most important assets in the state of Texas. And we need our legislature to step up and help protect us and help protect places. It's not your usual run-of-the-mill creek. It has a national heritage as evidenced by the buildings and sites along it, and a recognized state heritage by buildings and sites in the creek itself.
Certainly worthy of all our efforts
It
to
is.
protect it. Carolyn, from your perspective, what makes Salado unique, and how is the creek woven into that?
They're really inseparable to me. Any threat to the creek is, you might say, a threat to the village and to that spirit of hospitality. So we have to preserve it. I think sometimes we don't realize how asleep at the wheel we have been all over this state. In recent readings, I have seen that there are about 3,700 named waterways in this state. And at this point, there are less than 40 that are still considered pristine. That's embarrassing. We don't want...
Shocking.
Yeah, it is. And it's happened partly because we've not paid attention or we haven't realized the impact. And what I think is that if we're part of the problem, we can also be part of the solution. And that's what I see as an extension of this neighborliness and this spirit of kindness and cooperation that we encountered when we first came to Salado. And it's just an extension of that. And I think in a way it's a kind of a living example of the abundance of the creek. Yes, the creek has diminished. It was much wider, much fuller when we came in 74.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I think of picnics and pollywogs and projectile points. And we looked for or engaged in all of those with our 3 kids. They were all tomboys. And, they climbed all over those rocks. And, it was so much fun, but it was all part of the creek, and we weren't the only ones doing it. So as the girls got older and we had a business that involved, I had a guest book at the door and I would ask people to sign They came from Belgium and England and Italy. They came from New York State and California, and they would say, we came here because it's so beautiful and because this is, and I'd say this is Texas at its best. So I don't know if I'm answering your question exactly, except I don't see how we can separate any of it. It's woven together.
Yeah, you're singing my song is what you're doing, and why I love Salado so much. So much more I want to talk to you three ladies about, but we need to take a break. And we will do so, and we'll be back with more of the show right after this.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
And welcome back to the show. We've been talking about Salado, and I've got a couple here from Salado that I met not too long ago, and it's delightful to have you both. They're both artists, but two very different art forms. And Becky Connolly, who has been on this show before, I came to your house, and you showed me all the miniatures of the buildings in Salado that you make out of cork.
You did.
And your sweet boyfriend here, Jack Comeaux, is here with us as well. And you took me back to your music studio, and I said, I got to have you, Jack, come and be on the show because you've done some wonderful music over the years, and you've got something that came out a year ago, but it's very relevant since we just celebrated Texas Independence Day. And it's your song, Our Beloved Alamo, and that's what the cover art looks like. So welcome to you both. Jack, tell me, let's talk first about your song. It is with Jay White, and he is a producer friend of yours. Is
That's
that right?
correct, yeah. First off, thank you for having us, and enjoy your shows. So it's a real privilege to be here. And I wrote this song. It was actually a poem. I wrote a poem about the Alamo in 2009. I lived in San Antonio, and I graduated from the real Robert E. Lee High School back then. Mm-hmm. And the Alamo was always very special. And at that time, Texas history was mandatory.
Oh, yeah.
In schools.
You took it in the 4th and 7th grade.
Yeah. And so in the 9th grade, we had an old Texas history teacher named Charlie Holden. And he called everybody sir and ma'am and was very formal. But he gave us the little booklet that went with Texas history, and you learned all about Texas history, and I always liked that anyway. But I went to the Alamo a lot of times and all the historic buildings down there, and of course I've watched every movie that was made about it, and I've researched history and learned back from fiction. And so I sat down and wrote a poem called Our Beloved Alamo. And I registered it with poetry.com at the time and got a certificate, a thank you letter, and very nice. And they put it on their feedback online. And then a couple of years ago, I started thinking I really wanted to write something about the Alamo song because they were having these celebrations and these events. And I didn't want to write another battle song. Like several have been written. And there's been some slow ballads. So I was looking for lyrics, and I sat down, and finally I ran across that old sheet, and I picked it out, and I set the keyboard, and I came up with a bluegrass beat and a little banjo and up tempo, and
Kind of up tempo, yeah.
and what I did was just the words just fell into place. You know,
Yeah.
they just I didn't have to correct nothing. The phrasing and the chords were right, and
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah,
Right?
one of those songs you write in like 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And it just
You
fell
hear
together.
about those, yeah.
Yeah, and I do all my work through Scrimshire Sound Studios, Richard Scrimshire and his wife Terry Lynn. And they're well known all around the Belton area, and they perform and as well as record, have an engineering studio. And Jay White, and I ran across years ago. And of course, everybody in Central Texas knows he's the best blues player around, Jay White and the Blues Commanders. And so I got him, and he became my producer and my guitar player on these sessions. And he's a hard taskmaster. He pushes you when you think it sounds good. He always goes, well, you know, and you go, oh my God, I thought that was perfect. Now what are we going to do? But we did that, and it came together, and it's a radio-ready quality. You know, we really put a lot of effort. He does the artwork and takes care of getting it distributed through CD Baby Distributing Company, and they get it on all the apps. And I've played all around Salado and some outside of Temple. Me, just a one-man act with my keyboard, you know. And so I played the Barrel Brewery and Axis Winery and Red Cabin and various places all around Salado, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm older now, so I got a lot of time to play and work on my music. And the song came out perfect. We put a guitar in there. A little joke was we got it all together, and something was missing. And I said, it's a harmonica. We need a harmonica shot in there. I said, you know, anybody plays harmonica? And Richard said, my next door neighbor plays harmonica. And he ran next door, knocked on the door, and gave the guy $25. And he came over and played the little harmonica licks.
I love it.
And I can't remember his name right now, but they're perfect.
Yeah.
And then there's a part of the phrase in there that says the children of Texas learned about it to the sound of the old school bell. And so we went picking out different bells to ring, and finally Richard found some
It sounded like a school bell.
like a church bell, ding dong, you know. And so we put that in there.
Yeah.
And it really came out great. And of course, Jay just really rocks the guitar on it, you know. And we have good harmony. So we have a team. Brett Eds is our bass player, and we've used Wes Westmoreland on violin and Steve Pelusic on steel, all big-time guys that played for all the stars. And so we have a team, and we go in the studio, and we just have that combination that works together. So our music falls together pretty quick, and then we just pick it and tune it up, and there it is. It's on all the apps, on Pandora, YouTube, all that. So
yeah, Our Beloved Alamo is the name of
it's a great
name
song.
of the song. And you know, it's great that as a poet, you know, you realize just how that fit right in with the musical offering you were going to do.
It was actually just kind of a coincidence. I was frustrated, and I was like, I'll put it up there and see how I did it. And so I started playing, and then all of a sudden I said, I got it. So I punched in the bluegrass and raised the tempo up on the keyboard and put the intro in, and it just fell together. And so I took the studio, and everybody said, yeah. And so we got on it, you know.
Very, very catchy.
I've sent it to the Alamo. I've sent the link to the Alamo and a picture of it to their message site, and said, you're free to use this to represent the Alamo. And
Good.
was written precisely for
Right.
that. And I'm retired, and, you know, it's all about the music now, not about the money.
Right.
I don't
Wait,
care.
because you've been playing music a long time.
Oh, yeah. I started in 72.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing at Amarillo. Is that right?
Well, no, actually, I was in the military in England, and I wanted to learn to play guitar. And I had a buddy of mine, Bill Hager, sounded just like Merle Haggard. And he played guitar, and we got on his motorcycle and rode to Bury St. Edmunds, about 20 miles away. I bought a guitar and a chord book, set it on the back of the motorcycle with the guitar and a chord book, and we rode back. And then I learned how to play guitar, rhythm guitar. I drove my first wife crazy. I learned the Okie from Muskogee, and I drove her nuts for about 4 nights, playing it over and over and over again. But I took piano when I was 7. My mom.
So you had some music theory.
I had the music, but I took piano when I was 7, and I didn't like playing scales and woodchuck song. And I turned the radio on, and I heard Buddy Holly, and I said, I want to play that.
I want to do that. Yeah.
So that's how we got started.
Yeah.
And I don't read music. I play by ear, and it just comes to me. And then we go in there, and I use Jay to fine tune it all, And Richard does some excellent work. He does the drum work on our songs, and it's a team effort.
Having good musicians is key.
They're just they're great, and everybody's local, and everybody's known around the area, so we have a lot of fun, and we want to produce songs and music for people to enjoy. We're not trying to go out and hit the big time. I've already done that, opened for George Jones in '77, and had a couple of bands for years. So it's just about playing music and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather watch the little kids dancing out there in front of me at a barbecue place, and
having fun.
Having fun.
Right.
Put a $1 in the tip jar, and I'll load up and go home. Be happy. And so it's going good, but we love that song, and it was really special to us, and we wanted to get it out and have people hear it. And we really would love it if the Alamo would kind of adopt it,
Yeah, it's such a powerful symbol in Texas history. Is there some aspect of that whole story that really resonates with you?
Well, I have long Texas history. I have relatives came from Georgia and Tennessee. They fought for the South, and but they were great-grandfather was a Texas Ranger, and my great-great-grandfather was a Confederate soldier and then a politician later, and he never surrendered to the Yankees till the day he died, But so I have a lot of history, and being born in Texas, in Port Arthur, Texas, and half of my family is Cajun, and my mother's side is
the spelling of your name tells me that.
Scottish and English, So you got a Scottish Cajun here, and I don't know what you do with that. But anyway, that's my history. So that's what I've drawn on. And then being in San Antonio growing up was just a treasure, because so much to see, so much to do, so much to learn. The Hispanic culture, I love it. I love the food. I love their music, Tejano music, all of it.
Yeah.
And
so how did you get to Salado?
Well,
tell me about that.
I was a police officer, a deputy sheriff for 20 years. I started off in Bandera County, and then wound up moving down to the coast, to Rockport, and got divorced. And then I met my second wife, and I came up into this area, and I was a sergeant at Rogers for several years, and worked at Bartlett and Troy and Temple College, and set up the police department in Buckholz and Rosebud, and that was it. So that's how I got up in this area, and lived in Rogers for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
And then Becky and I got back together. We graduated from League in '65, and she was flight attendant for American Airlines, and I was a police officer, and we connected through a mutual friend on Facebook. And she was a widow, and I was single, and we reconnected after all these years. And we went to Salado and started looking around, and she said, I think we ought to buy a house in Salado. And I was like, oh,
That's not quite
who's we?
Who's we?
Anyway, so we did, and we have a very nice place on Mill Creek Drive that we resurrected.
Yeah.
And I started doing my music and playing around there, and got asked to play, and then I enjoyed it and Playa Barrel Brewery quite a bit.
Oh yeah, love Katie Hill. I mean,
And,
love having her on this
She's-
show.
and-
Well, I just love Salado. You know that.
Well, it's a
I mean,
great place.
Anybody who knows me knows that's my happy place. And Becky, so what you have done by recreating that iconic street scene in Salado using corks from the winery there is so remarkable. I think you had added a few more buildings since I talked to you.
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I think when you were there, I just finished the Barton House.
Yeah.
And then I told you I was going to do the Salado College,
Yes.
which I did complete. And it's sitting there in the museum now. It's displayed there. And then I've also finished the actual museum in its original form, before they added on and everything. So, and then, pardon me, I'm kind of been debating about what to do next. And this kind of plays into this whole thing. I've officially decided I'm going to do the Alamo.
I think that's awesome. I think that's wonderful. I think you should do that.
Yeah, it'll probably take me forever, but that's okay.
Oh man.
I'm retired too.
Well, and of course you so meticulously take, and the cork just sort of lends itself to the look of the Alamo
It's
anyway.
perfect.
So yeah,
Perfect. Yeah,
that's a no-brainer. So folks can go to the museum now and see some of your.
There's a couple pieces. Well, actually, everything's there, but they're kind of trying to decide how and when they're going to put it on like a permanent display.
like a permanent display.
Yeah, so
Well,
that'd
it
be
should
great.
be. It absolutely needs to be. Your whole story about just sort of wanting to come up with something to do.
Exactly. I was bored.
I just bored, and so I think I'll make a miniature house, and they're just tremendous.
Well,
It's
thank you
just
very
tremendous.
much. Yeah.
So you've got your next project slated for yourself, but you live near the creek, right? I mean, we've been talking about
It's right
talking
across the street from the
right,
creek.
right, and so that's why this Save Our Creek effort is so important, because the whole community could be impacted by the quality of the water
Oh.
coming through.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a major problem, and I read up on the history of the creek, and it was in the old days it was a really pristine, clear creek. The Tonkawa Indians camped all along that creek, and there were grist mills and various businesses, and the water it was a lot wider and a lot deeper, and very pure, very clean, and so it's changed a lot from that time. And if you have these developers and these other communities dumping treated sewage into the water, sewage is sewage in my book.
Right.
Lipstick on a pig is still a pig, as my dad used to say. But it's going to make the flow wider and deeper, and supposedly it'll be safe. But I've read some other reports where you'll get a lot of algae growing and phosphorus things.
Yeah, those levels are
Yeah.
questionable, I think.
And it's going to be, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. We're
Well,
good.
You both obviously have a very strong vested interest in the quality of Salado Creek, and my hat's off to all the good folks there who are working so hard to try to stave off a problem before it happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I mean,
hope
and
we
we've
can
said it
do
many
that.
times. You don't have a second chance on this. I mean, you
Yeah.
need to get it right from the get-go.
I know there's a lot of power and money and pressure
Oh,
involved.
sure.
And,
Yeah, and development's important. I
and-
mean, and you want to see growth. But
and the old timers, I call them the covered wagon crew because they've been in Salado for years.
Yeah.
Their family fought the Comanches. They dug the water wells by hand and
Yeah.
put up the fences. And I tease them a lot about that. But I sympathize with them, and I want to preserve as much as we can. We have a little 1 mile square village downtown that's never going to change. It has some new businesses, but it's still the quaint historic buildings. But the creek runs right through there.
right through it.
And the kids play in that. They fish in it.
Yeah.
Guys in kayak underneath I-35, and it's very nice and peaceful, and it's like the old days. And I can associate with it because I was a deputy in Bandera County, and Bandera has Medina River running through it. And so it's the same scenario, and they have a little dam, just like Salado does, and the water's clean and pure, and people collect down there, and they barbecue, and that's families, and they socialize.
Sure.
Which is something that's kind of getting out of fashion. People got everything to do and looking at their phones and driving on the freeway. So we've got a little piece of paradise there, and I would like to divert your sewage somewhere else.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, absolutely.
Run it out in a pasture behind your house, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, in the last minute or so, our beloved Alamo, though, we do want you to go check it out. Listen to
song.
this, and we're going to take some time so you can hear it. So so excited to have you both,
Well, I
Jack,
appreciate being
Becky.
here.
Thank you both.
Thank you
for
very
being
Thank
here.
you very much.
Thank you.
Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
And we are back talking about Salado, the beautiful village of Salado, my happy place. I always refer to it as. Love to go there and visit and shop and stay in one of the wonderful bed and breakfasts there. It's just a wonderful getaway for us being here in Waco. But for the folks who live there, that creek, Salado Creek, is just an integral part of the community and worthy of preserving and protecting from added growth and construction and all that kind of things that can affect waterways in Texas. And so that's why Save Salado Creek was founded. And I have three of the guardians, guardian angels from that. And Tiffany Schreiner, of course, kind of started got it all together. But you found the right people, didn't you?
They were already in motion. More, I mean, it's a very organic movement that was just bubbling just beneath the surface, and all I had to say was, "Come on, y'all!" And here we are. But they were already. I mean, with or without me, this movement was revving up.
Well, Salado's always had a strong creative spirit. Artists, storytellers, musicians. So, how does the creek, Tiffany, nurture that part of the community?
You know, so much of, I feel like, our artistry and our tourism and our history is centered around the creek. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the term plein air painting.
Oh, you always see artists.
Sure.
Yeah.
Painting in the outdoors. One of the ways that Salado sort of put itself on the map artistically was the annual art fair that we would hold. We have many special events. We have a lot coming up that I can only kind of allude to right now because they are coming down the creek, so to speak. We just tend to gather around the creek. We send each other pictures of rainbows across the creek. They are our love letters to each other and to our community, and really to the God-given gifts that we're so thankful for.
Yeah. Well, Salado certainly is a magnet for artists and for creatives, for sure. It's what I have noticed. What do we risk losing culturally, Beverly, if we don't save it, if we don't preserve it?
I think that we lose our identity as a village. I think our identity is interwoven into everything that happens along the creek. The fact that it's been a part of our sustenance is, in every sense of the word, the fishing, to eat, to swim, to do everything in it. I think it is so much a part of our legacy, and to not preserve what we have, I mean, preservation is huge. It's not just a word. It's huge. It's in the heart of everything that is about in and about Salado. Salado is so unique because of just the number of historic sites and buildings
Yeah, if you
that
want
we have.
a history lesson with the state of Texas, just spend a little time in Salado.
Absolutely.
Really.
I mean, 21 sites on the National Register is pretty significant. And another 17, that are interwoven in the Texas history. So it's not just a stream. It's not just a springs. It's something that is so tied to the heart, as Tiffany said, of who we are.
Yeah.
And you really can't separate the two. I think it's part of our economic strength as well, and our pride. We have pride in it. That's where we all come together. Is in and around the village to be able to hold to our community. We want growth. We know growth is going to happen.
Right, and people want to live there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission, so growth is about, but I call it, there's growth and you can have growth with integrity. And I think integrity is so much a part of that. And that's assuring that along the way we don't lose what we have, all the natural resources, our culture, our history. We don't lose that, but we build on it. And we build on it with integrity.
Yeah.
And
I
think
love
it's
this
important.
phrase, building bridges together since 1868. Carolyn, what does that mean, and why does that matter?
When I think about this region and the way the waterways have played their part in it, I have to think that this has always offered a quality of life that people have wanted to be part of. Even the early peoples were here to the extent that there are indications of farming, so they must have stayed there. They didn't come and go. And I think that whole quality of life draw is what brings us to the point of saying that our hospitality industry, which is extensive, I mean, we have bed and breakfast, and we have the Stagecoach Inn, and we have restaurants, and we have art studios, and all of that just is this draw that we want to sustain and pass on. And we can do that. And that's what happened to begin with. We were welcomed. We can welcome newcomers, but we want them to appreciate where they are and be able to sustain it. I want to see watercress going along that creek
Absolutely.
for my
I love
great
that.
grandchildren. And that there's a community feel that I think makes that not just possible but likely.
Beverly, you have a book there that your husband wrote. Tell me about that.
Well, he wrote the book right a couple of years before he died, over 17 years ago. And what I love about it that kind of ties into your question with Carolyn is that the building bridges has actually direct relevance to the history of Salado, because when Salado was first incorporated back in 1867, I think, it was had a suspension bridge.
Oh, really?
And
Like the
then,
Waco, yeah.
and then, because wagons could not go across that, a wagon bridge was built. And so bridges are very important to Salado's history and over Salado Creek. And there's a wonderful poem in the book by an author named, I think, Doomghoul or something, called Building Bridges. And it's not only about the building of bridges across the creek, but it's building bridges as a people and into the future, and how we together can make such a difference in that. And I love the poem. And so I just wanted to bring it today because it ties so great.
Let me read some. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening, cold and gray, to a chasm, vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fears for him, but he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Oh, I love it. Yeah, this is wonderful. I mean, and it's just so indicative of how much love people have for the community. You yourself, I mean, you have long generational ties to Salado, Tiffany.
I do. touching just on the history a bit more, our dear friends at Stagecoach and the Robertson Plantation, David Hayes is at the helm of Stagecoach. He comes to us from Georgetown, and he says, he and Sterling Ambrose is the member of the Robertson Plantation who is the steward of that legacy. And they both have said to me, they're great friends of ours, and they've said to me, almost verbatim in separate conversations, that when they pull in, Sterling comes to visit us from Tennessee, so neither one live there permanently, but they're there quite often. They've said to me almost verbatim in independent conversations that when they come into Salado, their soul exhales. And I think that that's just a really, it's a testament to the spirit of Salado. Without the creek, we are not the Salado that we have been, and that we will continue to be, as far as I'm concerned. And these ladies are concerned.
I can't imagine it without the creek.
In 2000, let's see, my daughter was born in 2007. So in 2009, Granger Esch and I, he was the founder of the Silver Spur Theater, there where Barrow sits now, and he and I formed the Imagineer Arts Academy. And we used to use the creek water to paint our projects and make our sculptures. And I mean, those projects, those artisan projects and artist projects were literally made on the banks of, and as with Salado Creek literally interwoven in them. Some of those kids now are on full music and theater and sculpting and acting and writing scholarships because of those moments. And I can't imagine us without it. One of the songs we used to always sing was Deep in the Heart of Texas at our Imagineer camps. And I was thinking the other day, I was kind of sing-songing down the road, and I thought, the stars at night are big and bright deep in the heart of Texas. And then I thought, Salado Creek is our heartbeat deep in the heart of Texas. So it kind of just fits right in there. We're right in the heart of Texas. And I don't know very many heartbeats that work well without water. Healthy water, beautiful water, inspiring water.
So how important is education in this whole effort, Beverly?
I think it's critical. I think when we talk about how people can get involved, I think educating ourselves. I know, again, as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission for a time, we were not involved that much in educating ourselves about the amount of phosphorus that was being poured into the from treated wastewater into the creek. We weren't even asking the right questions.
Didn't know to ask.
No.
You didn't know what you didn't know, right?
And so I think it's just really important that people do become educated. I think it's important that people become involved, whether it's becoming involved on the Planning and Zoning Commission and as alderman and mayor, so that you have a voice in this, but also just as citizens who want to preserve not only the creek, but the heart, Salado and everything, everything it stands for. So education, I think, is really important. I think it's important that we become so well educated that we actually send comments to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and get the comments on the subdivisions and new construction that is going to affect not only our creek, but almost every other creek that ties in to our nearby neighbors. One we're looking at right now is claiming that they're not even hurting Salado Creek, but they are. They're misrepresenting it, maybe because they don't know. Again, and so it's important that we start getting developers involved as being part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can't do that if we're not well informed, and get involved with organizations like Save Texas Streams and the one that is the
Georgetown,
the Greater Edwards Aquifer.
Yes, thank you. Alliance?
I
couldn't think of the acronym part. GIA. And so I think it's just very important as citizens of Salado that we get involved at all levels, and there's great opportunity.
Yeah, Carolyn, there have been some wonderful gatherings. I mean, community gatherings and just initial meetings of interested people. Are there like regular meetings and things? And how would somebody become involved in this grassroots effort?
Probably dates and places are going to be better handled by somebody besides me, because but I can say this, and I want to say this. This is the Salado Creek of Bell County. We need to emphasize that. It's the Bell County Salado Creek, but it's also true that Salado Creek belongs to Texas. I have friends from East Texas, I have friends from West Texas, from Dallas, from whatever, and they come here because it's just part of their whole approach to quality of life. Mm-hmm. And so I think we really need to understand. I told somebody the other day that we were getting ready to work on conserving and preserving, and she said, "Oh, you mustn't let anything happen to that wonderful creek." And she lives in Hopkins County,
yeah,
a 4-hour drive from here.
Yeah.
So it belongs to the hearts of Texans. And so what I'm saying, I can't tell you dates and places as much as to say the Historical Society meets on the first Monday of the month at, X time, X place. But I can say that all of the entities so far that we are aware of in the community, from the library to the Historical Society to the artist group, they're all
Native Plant
ready.
Society are all
Native
part of it.
Plants
Yeah.
is just really on it. They're all really receptive and want to be part of it. Mm-hmm. And that's important. Wherever they meet, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So many aspects of life, are involved in this, but you have a website, right?
We do. SaveSaladoCreek.org, and many of the events will be listed there. If you have a question, we have a contact page where you can just email us right there or send a message through the website, whether it's about events that are upcoming, if you have questions around the educational component, if you have questions about how you yourself can volunteer, all caps, and donate. All those questions can either be answered there or you can send your question in directly so that we can get back with you as soon as possible.
Yeah,
SaveSaladoCreek.org.
SaveSaladoCreek.org. I know Baylor University and their science department, they have folks that test the water quality.
Yes.
They're very involved with hands-on to provide information for you all, so you know what you're dealing with.
Yes, and they'll be visiting Salado to educate us. That's listed on the website. We'll have hopefully some video plugins of our interviews with you, Anne, on the website here soon. And we're just, yes, we're at a precipice point in terms of our efforts to be proactive. But I'll also say that it is so just inspiring to see our community come together like this on so many fronts for the present and the future and in honoring the past, just communities and families and memories that Salado has brought to so many.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me included. I mean, the heartbeat of Salado is very important to me, and certainly the creek is just integral to that. So I thank you all so much for your efforts in this. We support Save Salado Creek, building bridges together since 1868 right here. And go on the little QR code and you can find out more information and learn of upcoming meetings and events and things that will continue to draw attention to this very important effort. So thank you so much,
Thank
Tiffany.
you so much.
Beverly, Carolyn, thank you all so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for
Stay
your
with
interest.
us. There is more of the show ahead.
For over 2 decades, I've come to Allen Samuels shop, especially for trucks, because I've been very satisfied with the performance of those trucks. I think the strengths of Allen Samuels is obviously in their customer service and obviously taking care of your vehicle after the sale.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
many games. Now all our chips are lost. Luck was not enough. I opened my eyes. Tonight I feel like waking to life. Tonight I feel like waking
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Alan Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
This is a Rogue Media Network production.